Date is Monday, by 31st, 7:01 PM. I'm going to call this meeting to order.
Board Chair Start,
Present.
Board Member Santos.
Here.
Board Member Duhan. Board Member Orgish. Board Member Fishback. Board Member Harris.
Here.
Board Member Cohen. And Board Member Duhan did ask if the board would excuse her as she got called for work. And Board Member Orgish asked if the board would excuse her as she had to travel. Anyone wants to discuss?
I'll make a motion to accept, board member Duhan and Bordish to excuse them.
There was a-
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and open this up to public comments. Citizens are welcome to speak during the citizen comment portion of the meeting. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes duration. Do you guys wanna say something?
Yes, so we're a group of guys and gals. We've been meeting at the basketball courts for quite some time now. We got a good group of about 130 people plus, and it's growing. So we're happy with the park there. Everything's going great. We did notice that the intention was great. They painted the basketball court floor with just regular paint. It makes it so slippery and dangerous for the kiddos just playing basketball. You can pretty much shoot around, but you can't really do any set of movements. It's pretty dangerous. So we're trying to see if there was any way. There's an actual special kind of paint for tennis courts and basketball courts that provides a little bit of grip support. Makes it a lot easier and safer to play. But we just wanted to bring that to the table. See if there's anything we can do to get that special paint. And it's a pretty simple process. It's just you clean the floor, dump the paint, squeegees, and that's pretty much it. It's a simple process. But yeah, it's we've seen a lot of minor accidents. We just don't want it to get a little bit worse. We're starting to get a good group of people in the evenings, and it seems like every time we play out there it's one bad slip.
You referred to Greg Clark Park?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so when it was first painted, that was a concern. So they immediately shut it back down, fenced it back off, and
Mm.
they had a consult with the paint company and they repainted it with athletic sports paint. So it's probably due for another round. Benito is our maintenance supervisor
Okay.
and he's on the phone right now. Benito, do you want to add anything? Good point. We'll
Yes.
give you an update, but we can't have a discussion. It's just an update. But we can't have a discussion. Go ahead. If you can just update them as to what you guys did, but I can't discuss it during this part of the meeting.
So we did use regular paint at first and were advised that it was the wrong paint. So we went back to Sherwin-Williams and we repainted with an additive on there. So when I went out there previously, I really didn't notice it being that slippery because some other resident told us. And so I don't know what else we could do to it unless we
Oh,
strip
okay,
it all
thank you,
off.
Benny. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to probably shut it back down. If it's saying that it's too slippery, where it's causing a safety concern, and then troubleshoot from there, but I'll get with Benito. When we get in the office tomorrow and see if we can get it so it's not as slippery.
Okay, we're the leaders of the group, we're the organizers, and we're willing to do whatever we gotta do to help out as well. We got a group of guys that are
Before you
hands-on.
guys leave,
and
you
do
can
whatever we
please
gotta
give
do.
Amy your contact information and we'll follow up with you.
Okay,
What is the name of your group?
it's called Kyle Hoop Group 2023, and it's on Facebook. We've grown to 191 in about 2 months. We're just gonna continue to grow. Just wanna be safe doing it. We love the park. It's a great place.
We're glad you're using it and that you're loving it.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And it's getting a splash pad, so you
Yeah.
love it even more.
That's right, that's right.
Yeah, can you please get their contact? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is that it? Nobody else speaking? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and close public comments. Thank you guys very much. Approval of minutes from previous meetings, so June 26, 2023.
Move approval of mail. Or is online.
Second,
So,
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Consider impossible action, nomination selection of a vice chair for the Parks and Recreation Board. Mariana, please.
Alrighty, so at the last park board meeting, the board made a motion to postpone it to this meeting, since I know Chair Stark was unable to attend. So if there are any selections or anyone interested in being the vice chair of the board, please say so and go ahead and tell us why you should be the vice chair. Just note that at the next meeting, we'll be nominating and selecting a new chair, since Chair Stark will be terming at the end of next month along with
What are the responsibilities of vice chair?
to step in the absence of the chair.
Oh.
Run the meeting.
I don't know about that. So that's just the vice chair.
Right, or if you guys want to do them both vice chair and chair at the next meeting, you could make that option too. But
Okay, so Amanda and I are done. Did you questions the next meeting after that?
yeah, so we asked that question today, staff did, and the postings are supposed to be going up soon. And they're up for the whole month of August. There's a new board and commission ordinance that they're following. And then as soon as we get them interviewed.
Could the vice chair, if we nominate a vice chair tonight, could they just, if they wanted to, step into chair? And be ready to go either the next meeting.
They could step in because it'd be the absence of the chair, correct? But then if they wanted to be nominated to be a chair, they would just have to vacate their vice chair position.
Was anybody interested in vice chair position?
Like looking at two.
I mean, I don't mind trying really hard to be a vice chair, just because I mean, I'm super excited about what we're doing here, but I don't know if I don't think I'm qualified to be chair at all, just, I'm pretty new, trying to just figure it all out.
And you guys do get training. I know you did training to get on the board. I think it's very exciting.
I mean, I don't want, but if somebody else wants to do it, I want them to do it. Exactly.
We do have two board members absent as well, so that makes a difference to you guys.
Maybe the next meeting. Well, whenever we get the new members on.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
So I'd like to nominate Daisy as vice chair.
I'll second. All in favor? Any opposed? Any questions?
Congratulations.
Okay,
Great.
all right.
Thank you.
Look forward to the
Thank you very
training.
much for that. Okay.
Forgot to tell you about that.
I'm pretty good at it.
Lemonade stands, we have lemonade stands. Okay, discuss and consider possible recommendation regarding vending machines at the James Atkins Pool for the 2024 season.
Now I'm gonna immediately turn this one over to our rec manager, Amy. We have some residents asking if we would be interested in putting a vending machine at the pool. Staff does have a recommendation and I'll let her take it from here.
Yeah, so we have had a vending machine, probably about 2 summers back. It did come with more problems just because, the refunds, the restocking, getting a hold of the company. So per the discussion with staff, we just feel like it may just be more of a liability to, we have a lot of fortunate rodents that go outside and we're unable to properly, cool any of the concessionary items so that we can't have our own concessions out there. We don't have the space to store those items either. So, based on discussion with, staff, we are against a vending machine out there, but like to get feedback from you all to see what y'all's recommendations.
Yeah, I think it's super hard to have a vending machine in it. I mean, I grew up in a small town with a really, I mean, but it was always getting broken into, or, you know, even if they had it behind bars or whatever. But what, I mean, how do y'all feel about letting local you know, community, whatever, have a food trailer out there or ice cream, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That comes and I don't know, where you could somehow schedule it regularly that, I think they need something, I think it
Yeah.
would definitely be good, but something that gives back to the community. I mean, like for us, Kona Ice comes out to our school, but, so if I schedule him, he also gives money back to our program. So that could be something that goes towards, you know, back into the aquatics budget or whatever, that he comes out there 3 days a week or whatever it is, and then gives money back to this, to the city somehow. So that you're not having to worry about a vending machine, but you're still making some profit somehow. And not having to carry the burden of having something out there.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So Kona Ice actually comes out for summer camp currently, so just getting him out there during that time. I would like to note that, patrons are allowed to bring in food from,
Yeah,
um, outside food into the area, so we're not limiting them on not being able to bring anything in. They are able to bring the coolers in, especially now since it is so hot. But yes, we can definitely reach out to other programs. I want to say a couple years back, we even had Chick-fil-A coming out like on a Tuesday and sold food for a couple of hours, and then it was very expensive, I will say that, for them to come on out, as far as how much they sold the food for. Never been like to a UT game. $8 for just the sandwich kind of situation, but we can definitely reach out to other programs.
yeah, I mean, I don't really know what, I think it would be burdensome to have a vending machine out there 24/7, you know.
Well, how would you keep it cool other than keeping it in its own little area, like keep anything from melting?
Yeah,
If
there's
you put
really,
chocolate in it, it's done.
I think maybe you could maybe do a drink one that would help with the rodents and stuff like that, but you know, it's gonna be, I don't know how much the hassle is and of you know, refunding and
Right.
who manages that, or you could put a sticker on it that says, hey, we're not responsible. for
right.
Lost quarters or something out of that. But does the city already have a contract with Coca-Cola and stuff? I mean, I can look into it, but.
More trouble than it.
Oh.
But
It'll be
other
fine. I
options
just wanted y'all to speak back.
might be, like, I like the idea of having ice. The Tuesdays and Thursdays where it's open late.
And there may be a gas station put on somewhere in the corner around there.
Yeah,
There's one everywhere, so.
Why not?
Yeah,
Well, and if you're allowing people to bring in their own food and coolers and stuff. It's always cool to have it there just in case, but. It's worth.
Need a motion to say it sounds like it's more trouble than it's worth. And look at other options.
Is
Okay.
that your motion? Second, Shaq. No. All in favor? There you go. Okay. Discussion and possible recommendation regarding 2024 special events.
Alrighty, I'm going to share my screen real quick. So this is a glimpse of the special event presentation that we will be giving to City Council, not tomorrow, but at the second meeting in August. We've been asked, our staff have been asked to give an overview of all the special events we currently host, and to provide a recommendation on our destination events. So I'll tell you the difference in the two. We currently have 2 destination events. That's a Kyle Fair, a Textravaganza, and Pie in the Sky. The Kyle Fair Textravaganza is the one we just had in May, and Pie in the Sky is the festival we're about to have Labor Day weekend. We have 49 community events. Those are just 1 day or like 4 to 6 hour events, such as the Halloween trick or treat, the Easter egg hunt. So there's community events and there's destination events. And we are looking for direction on the 2024 special events, because when I present this to City Council, I will be letting them know what the park board recommended at that time. So Pie in the Sky, we had the first one was in 2017, and the goal of Pie in the Sky was to bring people to Lake Kyle for a weekend of family fun. It is also known as the Hot Air Balloon Festival. Pie in the Kyle Fair, the first one was in 2013, and it was previously known as Kyle Fair and Music Festival that was held at Greg Clark Park. This year we have held it at Lake Kyle Park. And is the new version of the historic barbecue cook-off and carnival that was at Greg Clark. So the differences in the two, Kyle Fair is a community fair, whereas Pie in the Sky is a hot air balloon festival. Kyle Fair is free, whereas Pie in the Sky has an admission fee. Kyle Fair is a 3-day event. Usually Pie in the Sky is a 3-day event. This year it is a 2-day event. Kyle Fair has a carnival. Pie in the Sky has a mini carnival because it's Labor Day weekend. We can't get a carnival to commit their own carnival to us. Kyle Fair and Pie in the Sky both have live stage entertainment. They both have fireworks vendors. Kyle Fair includes a Rib and Rita cook-off, and Pie in the Sky includes all the pie-related activities. The total budget for Kyle Fair is 130, and the budget for Pie in the Sky is 184.
And what's the revenues from Pie in the Sky?
So it depends. We were not able to obtain the last revenues because the last time we had it, it was just a 1-day event. And then the 2 years before that, it was COVID. So we didn't really have anything to compare it with. So yeah, we're setting a whole new. It does not make money though. It does not exceed the expenditures.
Is the
Yeah.
difference the balloons? Big difference?
So in the past, they've had 18 to 23 balloons.
Yeah.
18 to 23 balloons, and this year we plan to have 20 balloons.
How about the money?
Oh, the money is, the balloons are
$50,000.
extremely expensive. This year, we're spending 53,000 on the balloons.
Yes.
So
That's the difference.
almost the exact difference.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
difference is the balloons.
Yeah.
The balloons, to have the balloons, you have to house them, you pay them a stipend, the balloon, there's a lot involved with the balloons. It's very expensive.
And if the weather turns, then they can't.
Correct. So that kind of leads us into the next slide. We were asked to present the pros and cons of both events. So we felt Kyle Fair, the pro for that for the community is that it's free. It includes the gathering of Kyles. We can have a larger carnival at that time of the year. And since we had the first event this year, people are already trying to buy their plane tickets for next year so that their Kyles can be here for the gathering. The cons is Lake Kyle is very, very muddy when it rains. And it was almost impossible, but we pulled it off. So that's the worst part about it. Pie in the Sky is the pros is that the hot air balloons are available Labor Day weekend. For this Labor Day weekend, no one else is having a hot air balloon festival that we could find. The cons is that Labor Day weekend is very, very hot in September. Historically, the balloons do not go up due to the wind at Lake Kyle. The availability of all the headliner bands we were trying to get was very limited because it's Labor Day weekend and most of them are playing near the beaches. And there's very, very limited on-site paid parking for us to try and make more money off paid parking. We love the event. It's just, yeah.
It was on the last one, but because it's changing from a 3-day to a 2-day event, we can't really do $15 for a weekend. Right?
It's a day and a half for the Pie in the Sky,
Okay, but you could pay for 2 days separately. and
right?
it's less.
And be $20, or you can get
Okay.
2 days for 15.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
I read it wrong.
So of all of our events, the ones that are highlighted in yellow are new this year or new proposed in 2024. So I don't want to have to read them all, but I'll point out a couple of things like Market Days, that's a series. And so right now we just have Market Days. What month did we start this year?
June.
In June. So one of the things City Council has asked us to do is to have Market Days year round and or start earlier, start in April and go to November, October. So that's one of the other things we want to ask Park Board feedback on, specifically Market Days. What was the other one, guys? Tell me. Yeah, these are.
The fall.
And then the Fall Festival. We have a Center Street Trick or Treat right now. But council has not officially asked us as a group to program a fall festival. We just been asked unofficially to come up with ideas for a fall festival. So we were thinking that if we did do it, we would do it in conjunction with the La Verde Park ribbon cutting. Instead of making it just a whole separate event that we'd have to add on.
Makes sense.
So I was already thinking on that. Other than that, we wanted to know if there are any other events you guys wanted us to add, anything that you wanted us to take out. As you noticed, we brought the Pride Festival to you guys this year. We did not add it back for next year, only because based off research we did, we found that a lot of municipalities were not holding pride festivals. It was more like private organizations. So that one was taken off. Other than that, everything else that we brought to you this year is on this list. And we just want to know if there's anything else you guys wanted us to add or take off.
For market days, if you go to November, wouldn't it make sense to have one in December also, but like
Well, it's so busy
Second-
down there.
second Saturday?
Well, the problem in December is the park's
You have lights?
occupied with
Oh,
all the
that's right.
decorations and lights.
So we kind of use like
You're
Santa's
saying
arrival that
already.
first Wednesday in December as the market for December, because we have all the vendors up that day.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
perfect.
Do the vendors pay for their tent? Like, do they pay a little fee to come and set up?
Yes, $35 a vendor.
It's been a minute since we talked about market days. We had talked about doing it. How often did city council want it? Like
We
two
wanted
times a
it
month or
every week. yeah.
every weekend?
They wanted
But
to get
then
once,
we, then you guys recommended that we not do that, right?
So is once a month. Good. I mean, every month, the whole year.
whatever you
have no-
recommend. I
yeah.
mean, we're going
It
based
was
off park board
so- we went to
recommendation
the
and then
last one,
council's
it was
directive.
So hot out there.
Mhm.
It was, I mean, I guess it's hard because it's Texas, you don't know how hot it's gonna be, but
Or how cold it's gonna be when it gets cold.
right,
Yeah.
right. But it was, I mean, it was ridiculously hot out there. This last one, but
July.
I think we explored doing one once a month at one point, but then everyone's like, okay, no, December's definitely no, January's definitely no. And then we just kept chopping away at
February's
months.
too cold.
And that's how we
Oh,
ended up with what we ended up with. But if we go back to starting in April to November, staff was okay with that. We just felt like November, December were definite no's for, sorry, January and December were definite. November was-
it starting in April, just because it is cooler
Yeah.
outside, yeah. So the April to November seems good.
There's been a lot of complaints this year that's just too hot for market days, but it's abnormally hot this year.
Well, vendors won't come if they don't feel that it's profitable for them to be there.
So market days, maybe April to November.
why not March? What, cause what day is it on?
Second Saturday.
The second Saturday.
If March is a recommendation,
One thing I would think is second Saturday in March is frequently like overlaps with
spring
spring break.
break.
Mhm.
But I think we should just keep it, or make it, leave it. April.
April to November, and we didn't start this year till June, right?
Yeah, so there's just conflicts with, the facility, so
Right.
if we always keep it on the second Saturday, we just have.
Do you guys have any feedback regarding, so let me go to the next slide and I'll come back to this one. Because we have to make a recommendation at, council. So staff, and when I speak staff, I'm talking kind of us three right here, is to keep the Kyle Fair the third weekend of May, because we found that it was a very good weekend to host the Kyle Fair, and make it one destination event for the year and turn it into a 4-day fair. So do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That was our recommendation. We found that there's no other large conflicting events in the area that weekend, and like we said, people are already buying their plane tickets to come to the gathering of Kyle's. We feel that just, like, we like the Hot Air Balloon Festival, but we just based off the history and all the details going into the Hot Air Balloon Festival and the costs, that, maybe we do not do the Hot Air Balloon Festival anymore, and we ask that eliminate that Hot Air Balloon Festival. And instead, we really focus on growing the 25 days of Christmas to include maybe a destination holiday event on the weekend. Like Claudia had an example, this year we're getting a castle. So she was thinking like maybe one weekend we would do like,
kind of like a Renaissance Knights and Kings and the lights in that way, and do kind of the market that day, and we just have all weekend with just different things like that in each, whichever light display Mariana get and y'all recommend for the year, we would do the event around that event, kind
And we
of
would have it where?
at the square.
like this year, like have options, like we have the gingerbread house. Food's gonna be totally decorated like the gingerbread house. And then the other main attraction is the castle this year. That was kind of our recommendation. However, we did speak with Susan Garrison, who is kind of our liaison for the hot air balloons, and been keeping her in the loop on everything. Of course, I would still like to have pie in the sky. Something that the hot air balloon guys look forward to every year. So it's more just discussion. Please feel free to add any conversation with Susan. that might
Yeah,
be-
that's, yeah.
So is there anything that we can do? Not necessarily that the city is gonna do, but coordinate something with the hot air balloons, because that's always been one of my favorite things about Kyle. I mean, when the balloons can come and when they can fly, is seeing all the balloons. It's always been one of my favorite things. So, I mean, if we don't hold any, the city doesn't, then just
Well,
invite
maybe,
them to continue doing their thing. and
well, we did
it's-
have an idea on Pi Day. When's Pi Day? March?
March.
March.
Maybe on Pi Day, we can invite all the balloons to Lake Kyle and still keep the pie in the sky and just not make it a festival.
Yeah, support them somehow, or, because
That was
one of my
so
favorite
cool.
pictures was pictures in front of the hospital, so it's like, it's really cool.
Or we keep pie in the sky. I mean, the board recommends that we should keep the pie in the sky, but we'll definitely express our recommendation and the board's
I
recommendation.
kind of feel like I hear more complaints about pie in the sky than. Well, it's too hot, not coordinated very well. Too much.
Yeah, that's kind of based off our feedback we've got.
Yeah.
But
No parking.
Just seeing, yeah, just seeing that.
So some of that, I mean, to speak on some of that, you know, it'll change now that we've gotten Kyle Fair under us. And so like the parking situation, there might not be any online, but, on site. But, you know, we didn't have any complaints with Kyle Fair, so we're gonna run it the exact same way. I don't think, just in looking at it and coming in on it, I think, Pie in the Sky hasn't had like a full-fledged kind of, I guess, view under us either. That's kind of, you know, something to think about in the discussion. I know last year they just had the one day and it was kind of short notice.
And it rained.
And Mariana
our
and
one
the team.
balloon didn't go up.
So, yeah, so I don't know if we can honestly, you know, make a solid decision on it because it hasn't been under us to do. And
And we're
from-
not here to make a decision. We're just here to make a recommendation.
yeah, sorry. But knowing and seeing like how Kyle Fair went and being able to see, you know, that as a department and how we could run Pie in the Sky is kind of.
Is there any leeway to wait to make a decision until we see it this year?
So that's kind of what Claudia and I were saying. We're like, okay, well, let's see how this year goes. This is Claudia's first year doing Pie in the Sky. This is my first year doing the extended Pie in the Sky. But, you know, we were asked, just kind of directed to get this presentation going and get on the next council agenda. So that's why we had to bring this to you guys today.
I think,
Sorry, go ahead.
I think I wouldn't have a problem with keeping it this year. It's
Yeah, we're
just-
definitely keeping it this year. It's a month away.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, next year, since we have
Okay.
to make the decision and get everything. So you can't wait too long to set up those events. This year we'll begin to get an understanding of how the finances for it work, how many people really come, how we'll do it, and see if it works out. And then next year, we can decide whether or not that format's gonna work.
So maybe that's how I present it at the council meeting, is that park board make a recommendation to see the outcomes of the 2023 Pie in the Sky before further providing a recommendation on next year.
That sounds like a motion I made.
Yeah, it sounds like, it sounds great. So we have people come from all over to the fair because of the kites.
The Kyle.
Can
But-
somebody explain to me though, the whole pie thing? I mean, that's always felt kind of forced.
Yeah,
I mean, we have one pie place.
yeah.
So
We
that
don't
was,
count pizza pie.
we didn't put it in our cons, but that's kind of one of the other things that was a con for us. Is that we get a lot of feedback is about the whole pie in the sky. Why pies? You guys run out of pies at noon. You guys run out of pies at 3 p.m. There's never enough pie vendors there. Like, how are we the pie capital, the only one pie? Like, there's a lot of feedback. And that's one thing we did take in consideration too. When we were like, oh, we just,
You can't change it now.
So-
It's too late, but.
but not this year. This year, we have a really nice event planned for y'all this year. So we're hoping to.
But if you know, wanna recommend us looking at taking that. Mhm.
Yeah,
Do you guys know where, like, how far people come to see the balloons? Like, we know that the Kyles come from all over, but do people come from other places for the Pie in the Sky?
At this point, yeah, I was told that they have. I know we do have one balloon from New Mexico at this point registered. And this year with the ticket sales, the way I set up the ticket sales, I can see their zip code. Yes, is one of the things I did ask for. So I'll be able to, after this year, to tell you how far. But I can tell you for Kyle's, I can tell you where they've come from, yes.
And historically, it was named a destination event because it does put heads in beds, like the hotels are busy on Pie in the Sky weekend.
That's what I'd be curious to know, because like you said, it being the destination event, keeping it, if it really does bring people from.
We have been told that it does.
I-
But we don't have the data.
It
From the
wanted
hotel.
it wanted to be a destination event, but it was doomed to fail when it was closed for 4 hours in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Which we're not doing that this year yet,
Opinions. Oh, I know that,
Mhm.
I know that.
because of your feedback, yeah. We're going from 5 AM to 11 PM. No, seven.
Well, I mean, who's gonna go to a destination event and go away for 4 hours?
And I
But
mean,
you all fixed that, so.
Well, but they still shut down. That's another thing, I mean, it's another part of the balloon.
The balloons shut
Well,
down,
the
but
balloons will shut
the rest
down.
of the fair is gonna be
Yeah,
moving, so we
we'll
have
keep
like
that.
pie related activities planned during the day until the live music starts.
Yeah.
So I didn't make a motion, but, and then any other feedback on any other of the events, you guys?
Do we have enough lights yet to do an actual like trail at Lake Kyle? I know we've been
So today,
trying
or
to
today,
get new.
not today. This year will be our first year doing a walk through like display at Lake Kyle.
Okay.
It's not gonna be like entirely long, but we definitely have enough to do a nice start.
Okay.
Mhm.
and are we gonna do one at Greg Clark?
No,
No, that's a trail.
it's gonna be City Square Park and Lake Kyle Park.
I like the light trail idea. It's good. It's probably event.
And just in terms of like, is everyone cool with Lake Kyle Park? Is there a different park you think we should do it at?
I think I think it has to be there for now, just because there's no. But, I mean, I wanted to ask one thing, because I've been, sorry, I watch a lot of TikTok. And so, but it's for educational purposes most of the time. Like, because I was looking at the cost of the fireworks, because we do fireworks for some of the big events or whatever, but now they have these drone things that are like, is that cost similar? Do we know at all? The
Mhm.
drones are way more expensive than blowing up.
But yeah, if it's a recommendation that the board wants us to look into it and bring it to a future event, it's been in discussion the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But it's significantly more expensive.
Well, as long as we're not paying.
Christmas tree mission.
We're just.
So did we decide to make a recommendation after Pie in the Sky, so.
Yeah, I have my meeting with my assistant city manager tomorrow. And I will ask him if he still wants us to proceed with the August 15th council. Or if we can just push that to the first meeting in September or second meeting in September. So we don't have to go back twice. Before we give a recommendation, and I'll see what his directive is.
So our meeting in August.
Oh, that's
would
right.
be before Pie
Pie in
in
the
the Sky,
Sky.
and the meeting in September would be at the end.
And yeah, I'll see how he wants us to move forward, but I will let him know that, depending on what motion you guys make today, that you guys probably won't be providing a recommendation for Pie in the Sky for next year until after this year.
It just doesn't seem worth it to like kill it, and then what if it's off?
Yeah,
Well, it's gonna be awesome. We know it's gonna be awesome. Like we're telling, we have a really nice event planned for this year. It's just something that's come up that we've been asked to present. And we just felt like, okay, because a lot of the headliner bands for for Kyle Fair and Pie in the Sky, they're like $40,000. And so we're not able right now to get a major headlining band because we don't have that kind of money. So that was our main reason, was like, okay, well, if we just do one big destination event a year and use the funds that are allocated for Pie in the Sky, the Kyle Fair, then we can get a $40,000 headliner.
For $40,000 for one band,
Yes, that's how much headliners
For one
are.
band,
for
Yeah.
like Spasmatics.
Spasmatics were
They were 10,
10.
they were 10, but, for instance, like, who was it? Pat Green was 40,000.
Yeah, I feel like you could get somebody great for under $40,000.
And we're getting some really great
Yeah.
bands. It's just majority of the bands, like La Mafia, like other big time bands that we've been asked to see how much they cost, they're in the $35,000 to $40,000 price range, and that's most of them.
Would we be, and this might be a future question, but if we get rid of Pie in the Sky and that's the one we charge for, would we then be charging for Textravagant?
No, we don't know what the recommendation is. It's definitely something that would probably come up for sure. But Pie in the Sky, the only reason it's a fee-based event is to help offset the cost for the balloons. It's not because we're making any revenue.
The balloon guys still get paid if they don't fly?
Yes.
So I'm gonna make a motion that we wait, if possible, to rule on Pie in the Sky until after this year's.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
Any other motions on any other events?
Something done it.
No, I don't think, did anybody else have anything they wanted to change or add, or
Did you want to make a motion to change the market day dates?
I'll make a motion to change market days from April to November. All in favor?
Aye.
And then, okay, you said the La Verde one, like fall festival type thing. How many of these things, like obviously May the 4th and Cinco de Mayo don't, but like the music arts theater, are some of these all gonna end up in theory in the same event?
No, so like,
Or are they all-
music, so there would be like a series at La Verde Park, so it'd be like Music Mondays or Theater Thursdays.
Okay.
It'd be a
got it.
series very similar, so something like that.
Okay.
I don't wanna put any more work on you at all, but is there a way to get this with like the dates or months that
Yes,
that they would
Mhm.
occur, just
Yep.
to see it like?
no problem. It's already in the spreadsheet that Amy's made. I just didn't put it on this, but yeah.
And you can resend it out or something.
So,
I mean, I know when Cinco de Mayo is gonna be. So,
okay. And May the 4th.
okay,
Okay, so I'll do that. And I'll send that out to you guys all the board members, and also let you know what the update is on when we will be presenting this to council, if we still are.
All right, discuss and consider possible recommendation regarding Greg Clark Park and Steeplechase splash pads, including hours of operation.
Okay, so did I stop sharing it? I just can't see anything. So the Steeplechase splash pad and the Greg Clark Park splash pad are both under, they both started construction. They've only been fenced off at this point. The crew will be here in about 10 days to start installing the pieces. However, there is an agenda item on tomorrow's city council agenda to postpone the opening of the splash pads until we're out of drought 2. Drought 2 might last for a very, very, very long time. So they will be having that discussion tomorrow night, and then we'll have our directive. Our thought is that we would at least try to open it for the whole month of October if they let us. Now, if we're still in drought during October, we were thinking like, okay, well then just let us open it 3 or 4 hours a day. So it only takes about 200 to 300 gallons of water a day, which is very, very, very minimal. But that's being open from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. So if they allow us to open in October, so at least the kids can enjoy the splash pads because they're going to see them, we were going to recommend doing reduced hours.
Next weekend.
We didn't decide that,
School
but probably, yeah, just weekends, because in the evenings it's a good start. So that was going to be our recommendation if we're asked, and we wanted park board's feedback on that part.
I think we could do it earlier than 8. Personally, and most kids who are gonna be excited about a splash pad are probably gonna have bedtimes.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be there at 8.
Okay.
I feel like you could go like 6, 7, maybe.
Okay. Those ideas.
Yeah, I
And
think we could extend the hours during the hotter months.
Yeah, I mean, during
Okay,
summer,
so the-
like,
We're
yeah.
gonna,
you're a little
we're only gonna
wishy-washy
be
about
at
bedtime.
them for a couple of.
so the first
months.
part of this is just, the first part of this, if they do allow us to open the splash pads this year, what our recommendation would be. So we would recommend doing, after school hours between 5 and 7, or just no weekdays whatsoever and only open on the weekends.
How much would it usually, would it really get used during the week with school and?
Feel like we.
Homework,
probably not, okay.
I would say, I mean, I think you could open it for maybe 2 hours in the morning for
That's
kids that
what
are.
As long as we're gonna say, we have a
Little
very,
kids.
very large homeschool community.
Like
in the
9
area,
to 11 or
if it was-
8:30,
yeah.
10:30,
Mhm.
something like that.
A lot of our kids are homeschooled and there's a lot of daycares in the neighborhoods. Within walking distance.
I don't know, the daycares that got used,
Mhm.
much,
Okay.
that's a lot to some daycare people.
Yeah, I don't think they'll come use Splash, but I think that it'll be like more stay at home or maybe homeschoolers or whatever.
There's no staff required to run that, right? Somebody just turns the water on.
So we have to go every 2 hours to do recordings and to test the water. But no one will be there monitoring. They're kind of just be open.
So if you just did it for 2 hours, then somebody just has to go on that day.
I like the idea of the 2 hours days. Longer.
Okay, so that's the first part of what we'll need a motion for is if we do open the splash pads this year, what our recommendation is. The second part is looking forward to next season, and we can always bring this back in the next meeting too. The proposed hours of operation, so we propose 7 days a week, 9 AM to 8 PM. And that's something that the board can think on. We don't have to make that decision today. And we'll come back with the rules. They follow the city of Kyle ordinance already. So the same splash feature that's gonna be at La Verde Park, the same splash pad rules at Greg Clark Park, and the same splash pad rules at Steeplechase Park will be the same. And we can bring those back to you guys next month as well.
I'm with her about 9 to 7, I think is
Okay,
pretty reasonable.
all right. So we don't need a motion for that part yet, but we do want, once the splash pads get open at the end of September, or October, if they open this year, we want to make sure that the websites are updated with all the information because we're getting kind of bombarded with questions and calls. Because everyone's excited.
Would it be a big difference to have it open 9 versus 10 AM? How many people would go?
You know what, little kids,
Mhm.
I'm thinking little kids, I think little kids are gonna go in the mornings.
And we did like a comparison to the surrounding splash pads in our areas and other cities. And that was the typical time. Most of them are open.
And then for the 2 hour days, like if we do 10 to 12 or 9 to 11. We did like 10, what about like lunchtime or maybe 11 to 1 or something like that? They get a break around lunch to go. What do you guys think the best hours would be if you do 2 hours versus 3? I don't know, I have small kids.
Mine are not super small anymore, but to me, they get up a lot earlier when they're little. And then like you want to take them and already have them home sitting down so you can stick a sandwich in their face by noon. You know, like you want to leave before noon.
Yeah, we
You
used to
have
have to
some really
like turn,
cranky
have
kids.
staff go turn on the water. And there's kids playing in it and then we just show up, oh, sorry, I gotta turn it off.
Yeah.
You know. Like I would like to just turn it on once and then for the day and then turn it off once for the day. That'd be my preference.
I think. Okay, if it was me, 9 to 11 weekdays and 10 to 7. Yes.
I was just thinking like about school, most schools are in session by 8:30, even the high school. I mean, the high school's gonna go to school by 9:10. So, the traffic is a little bit less, and then everybody's in school by 9:30 or whatever. So I was thinking 9 to
Our
11,
start
so
time this year is 8:55. It starts and then we go till 4:25.
If y'all want a motion for what the hours would be if we open, please.
One thing to consider is that we're opening pretty late in the year,
Mhm.
and the mornings are gonna start getting much cooler.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, who knows, but, if the mornings are cool, then are we gonna have kids coming? And I don't think so much.
And then how long are we gonna keep them open?
Until it gets cold.
But we don't have a definite date. just
No.
until it is-
Just the only, and so the main reason is, we wanna just open them up at least because everyone's been waiting for them. But we didn't think we'd go past October. We thought we'd be done at the end of October. Your birthday.
That's not what I have.
Oh, yeah. Got Texas celebrates.
So, like, yeah. Everybody else does not.
Yeah, no, me studying in July.
What do you guys think?
So if we're given the green light to open the splash pads, once they're ready to be opened this year, what is the recommended hours of operation? And that would be in the form of a motion.
I'm not gonna say it if y'all are like,
Good.
at the time.
I got confused, so say it.
Okay, so I would make a motion to have the splash pad open in October, weekdays from 9 to 11 and weekends from 10 to 7.
Or did you say 9 to 7 on the weekend? Did you
Yeah,
say
10 to 7, 9 to 11 on the weekdays, 10 to 7 on the weekends.
That's what I said. But
Do you wanna
Go 9 to 7 on the weekends? I mean, do you want to keep the same
Modify the
opening time?
Yeah, there might be argument to that.
Would you like to,
that makes sense because it's an even number and it fits the every 2 hours.
so do you wanna modify
We'll
your?
amend the motion to be 9 to 7 on weekends.
I got 9 to 11 on the weekdays, 9 to 7 on the weekends.
AM to 11 AM weekends, 9 AM to 7 PM. All in favor? Any opposed?
And then I'll come back, at the next meeting with more details for the regular, hours of operation.
Well, now tell us if the.
Yeah, and I'll know,
It's really come during the week. We'll know if we should be. And we may or may not be able to do it if the council votes to
right,
not open during. We're just in stage 2, right?
Yes.
I don't know if they understand it, that a whole day's worth of the splash pad is really only the equivalent of a day. One house. One house. I don't think they understand that.
initially it'll take about 2,700 gallons to fill the tank that's below the splash pad. And each day it'll lose about 10% just off runoff, evaporation. So the daily usage is 200 to 300 a day.
That's very little, and when you think of. In my opinion, and you know that I'm a water person, I'm all about, we're gonna run out.
Right.
But in this heat, especially for the families that don't have central air conditioning, I just think that they will love bringing the kids, even the older kids will come sit. Splash pad. It'd be a great way for families to cool off that they don't really have now. So I would encourage the council to consider, to not pass that. But I can understand why they're.
So I'll let y'all know the outcome of council tomorrow.
Okay, staff report.
Alrighty, so at the end of the agenda, but we just completed budget workshop number 3 this Saturday. Thank y'all for coming, and I'll follow up with Benito. You got their information? Okay, so if we have to fence it off, we'll get with Amy and give you guys a heads up first.
So good, appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Budget workshop number 3 on Saturday. And at budget workshop number 2, the only thing that we recommended that the board had supported was a certified therapeutic recreation specialist was deleted in the proposed budget that the city manager provided to council. And so at budget workshop number 2, city council asked the city manager to put the certified therapeutic recreation specialist back into the budget. So at budget workshop number 3, it did make the cut. So we are looking at 7 new positions, including if it gets approved, an assistant director, a rec programmer for athletics, a pool maintenance technician, a crew leader, and a park maintenance technician, 2 park maintenance technicians, pool maintenance technician. Pool crew leader, gotta get them all mixed up. That's 7 positions. And then equipment, 2 mowers, a dump trailer, the skid steer, the pole barn, the mini excavator. The lease space is still on there as of right now, and 4 Chevy trucks to go with the new positions. And then just overall increase in supporting costs of all the CIP projects we presented to the board. The only one that got changed was the dog park at Waterley Park. Instead, they have asked our city manager to come back to the next budget retreat by amending that request to include $500,000 in improvements to Waterley Park. So we've already done 500,000 in improvements to Steeplechase. We're doing the improvements to Greg Clark, and they felt that, well, it's Waterley's turn. Let's go ahead and give Waterley for $500,000 too. So that will be coming back. So there's 2 more budget workshops left, and they are both on Thursday, and then the budget will officially be approved.
And the, garden.
In the garden made the list. So the other projects, I'll read through those that made the list, were the Post Oak Community Garden, the restroom for Heroes Memorial Park, a BMX bike park, 4 tennis courts, 4 pickleball courts, the development of Kensington Trail, a fishing pier at Lineberger Lake, the parking lot improvements at 5 parks, an expansion of the inclusive playground at Lake Kyle, and just annual park improvements. There's always a little chunk of money to get like a swing or some new engineered wood fiber for the surfacing. So those are the projects we're looking at for next year. And the only new fee in our fee schedule that we recommended, or major fee, we added like a bunch like summer camp to be more comparable with what's around, was the addition of volleyball nets and basketball courts for the pool rentals. Other than that, that's an update on the budget. An update on our park projects. As I mentioned, the splash pads, we had the groundbreaking last week, so they're both fenced off. We had 3, and also the groundbreaking for the inclusive playground. Thank you, Board Member Harris, for being at all 3 of those. We really appreciate it. When we have the ribbon cuttings, though, we will be sure to get it on everyone's calendar in advance, so that if you guys want to adjust schedules or whatever to be there, we'll be sure to send out the invites. The skate park open house is this Thursday here, right where we're at. And anyone coming will be able to see conceptual designs of what our skate park will look like. And we'll be designing our skate park based off of what is discussed on Thursday, what they're chose.
Thursday, what time? I'm sorry.
6 to 8. So that's this Thursday, and that's the second and final skate park engagement. The last one we had about 35 people.
Crowd.
Yeah, it was
We're
pretty
so
crowded.
excited.
It was fun. I got past my competency pretty quick.
I'm gonna go ahead and take the next to the events update, not finance guide, the events update at the same list. So staff is working on Founder's Day Parade. That's a go. The annual eclipse that takes place will happen that day, but it's just the annual and it's not the major one that we expect in April. So it won't interfere with the parade. And then our CIP projects that we're finishing up, we're getting new tables and chairs for the Krug Activity Center. Ball field light inspections at all the parks. We're posting the RFP for cameras in the park. Aeration at Lineberger Lake and Cool Springs. Irrigation at the parks. Ball field improvements might get reposted if we're not able to get what we want with the amount that we have budgeted already. We're still in discussion on that. And so those are the RFPs that are remaining to be posted this week. Those get posted on Wednesday. The restrooms are already in design. So the first restroom that will go up is going to be City Square Park. The second restroom that will go up will probably be Lake Kyle Park. And then it will go Greg Clark Park, Steeplechase Park, Waterley Park. And they have 90 days from when that got approved, and we're probably at 30 days. So it's moving right along. Other than that, Amy, we're all still recruiting for the kayak. The Kyle Area Youth Advisory Committee, we still need more 14 to 18-year-olds. We only have 12, and we need 16. We're hoping once school starts back up, we can get some of these kids who want to really be involved in the community. So,
Tomorrow is Hawk Roundup. I can have posters made anymore. But I can get posters up again.
Usual's in NHS person.
Mr. Holcomb.
Yeah. If you send me information, we can forward it to him and get some of those NHS,
That'd
'cause
be
they all
great.
need community service hours and stuff.
that'd be great. We figured like once school started back up, it would get better for us. It's been a real struggle to get
I'm
in.
a club sponsor this year. too,
Awesome.
So I
Okay,
will tell my kids they have. to do it.
yes. All right, so kayak. And pretty much that's it for events and update. I'm gonna just turn it over to Claudia to give the pie in the sky update. If you just wanna give the overview of the run through that's on fire. Sorry, I
That's
don't know if
okay.
you saw that or not.
No.
I was like, pie in the sky update, okay, fine.
So yeah, what do you want me to start here? The flyer, we have, so we'll have Friday night, we have, do you want me to give music line?
Yeah, just give it.
Okay, we have Guy Forsythe and the Texas Horns, we have Del Castillo after him, and then we have Roger Krieger, is our headliner for Friday night. And then Saturday, oh, and then we'll have the balloon glow Friday night, so they'll do, which they don't go up. It's just a glow, they just light up and shine. And then Saturday, we'll start with the Ascension, and they'll go up, Saturday morning. And then we'll lead into our 3.14, fun run walk. And then we'll have our first annual, Tiny Tot Pie-a-thon. And then leads into our cake eating contest, our pie eating contest, our baking contest. And our recital of pie, and I think that's it for the pie activities. Then we lead into our opener is Destiny Navarra featuring her father Raulito. Then we go into the Las Phoenix. They're out of Houston. It's all girls band. Then we have Los Tex Maniacs featuring Flaco Jimenez. Then we go into
The glow.
the glow, and we'll have the glow at that point, and then we have Ram Marrera, and then we have fireworks, and then we close with Red Rocks. So that's kind of our event. The balloons will be escorted in at the glow with police escorts. There'll be tether rides during the hours that the balloons are there. Yeah, I think that's about it. Food vendors
We need a
and
lot of volunteers because the
craft
hot air, that's
vendors.
the other thing, the hot air balloons require a lot of volunteers.
we will have 2 special shapes, which are the ladybug and the spider pig. Wells Fargo has stopped their balloon. They no longer have a balloon division. We will have, as far as commercial balloons, Scott Felder, the city of Plano, and HEB.
On your sign up genius, does it have, like the hours?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool, so,
Yeah.
when kids sign up.
Yeah. They can, yeah.
So, come tomorrow, we're 1 month away.
Tickets on sales are online. We're testing Eventbrite for the first time, so we'll see how that goes, and so far, so good.
But there will be on-site sales tickets for sale. You just have to wait in line.
Yeah.
If there's one. If there's.
Do the volunteers get in free?
Yes,
Okay, they'll have like a wristband or something.
sure.
What were all the things in the pie zone, in the pie shop area?
All the things in the pie shop will be, we're having the shirt coloring. And then we have the pie eating, the pie baking, all of that goes on in there. And then that pie zone is where our Texas Parks and Wildlife archery and fishing will be.
Archery and fishing, okay.
And what else is in the pie zone?
Recital.
The pie zone. Oh,
Mud pies.
the mud pies, we're gonna be, you can make your own mud pie, and then maybe the pie toss. Which is not really a pie, it's just a pizza box.
Pie recital.
3.1467, whatever after that.
Oh,
It is incredible that people actually know
I'm
this.
thinking like dancing.
No. Oh, but we could do that too, maybe we could have dancing pies.
That was really the best part of last year was the pie recital. It was so impressive. Thanks, Claudia.
Mhm.
And then the other two things were the Trails Committee, they had their first meeting last Wednesday. It went really well. So they, the Trails Committee members are gonna be getting out on the trail with Benito. And then we're actually having 2 meetings next month instead of just one, so we can get started on working on the RFP for the trail improvements for the Plum Creek Trail. The Community Gardens Committee will have their first meeting this Wednesday. We're really excited about that. This Wednesday, we also are hosting the Crowell Ridge Neighborhood event. So Parks will be out there with members of engineering and planning, just giving information to the Crowell Ridge neighborhood on some developments that are happening around their neighborhood. And we're gonna give out free school supplies, hot dogs, cones, and, for the Crowell Ridge neighborhood.
That's the first of our neighborhood.
Then that's it for the update, but I did want to ask you guys though, so when the park board looked at or gave a recommendation for the holiday decoration this year, one of the items that was brought up was for us to pursue getting a menorah display. And it was also mentioned in previous years as well. So before we did that though, we just wanted to make sure, because there were some questions going back and forth, that we should have other cultural event displays as well, like a Feliz Navidad display. Even people sometimes said like an angel or a cross or a nativity scene, and we just wanted to see how the board felt about that. Menorah has been brought up probably every year the last 3 years, but none of these other displays have been brought up. So before we proceeded any further, we just want to get park board feedback on that part.
I'm okay with having any of the displays, but if you do them one at a time, then there's. You decide which person takes the road.
Right
Then
now,
what
we don't
maybe
have,
it is.
we don't have any that are religious things.
No.
right now.
We do not.
I thought,
Okay, that's how it staff's directions too, okay.
once you start, where do you stop?
Yeah, the list will never end.
Yeah, and it gets expensive, but
Okay,
keeping it secular, I think. Is good.
it's something that's been coming up often, so. Alrighty, and then the last thing, when you guys get to the next meeting, we know that like Chair Star, Board Member Kern are about to turn or get some new members. If you guys want to think about this for the next meeting, all of our other trails and our committees are meeting at 6. If that's something that the park board is interested in changing, 6 o'clock meeting versus a 7 o'clock meeting, that might be also an item of discussion in the future as well. That's all I had.
I'm okay with it, 6 or 7.
You definitely don't have to make a decision today. It's just one thing we can make a note of.
Anything that really-
Okay. All right, so our next meeting will be, Monday, August 28th.
It's your last meeting?
You guys aren't gonna get. Sorry about that. Okay, then I will make a motion to adjourn this meeting. All in favor? Anyone opposed? All right, 8:04, adjourn the meeting.
Man, I do have a question. Are we scheduling the solar eclipse, anything special for the solar eclipse?
So we are not. Our emergency management, are we done reporting?
1 second, let me.
It's okay. I just